On the edge of a quiet little town, nestled between overgrown hedges and creaky wooden fences, stood a weathered blue cottage. It belonged to Mrs. Agatha Morgan, an 82-year-old woman with silver hair tied in a neat bun, who habitually spoke to her geraniums and was known for preferring plants over people. Every morning, exactly at 7:30, Mrs. Morgan would sit by her kitchen window, sipping chamomile tea and watching the sunrise. It was on one of these chilly Monday mornings that she first saw it. A skinny, scruffy, gray and white cat sitting on her porch. "Shoo!" Mrs. Morgan said, annoyed. The cat blinked lazily at her and didn't move. Every day that week the cat returned. It sat silently, sometimes curling up on the old doormat, other times simply watching her with wide amber eyes. Mrs. Morgan would grumble but never did more than wave her hand. On the 6th day, it rained heavily. Thunder cracked. And yet, there was the cat, soaked and shivering. "Fine, just until the rain stops," Mrs. Morgan said, resigned. Mrs. Morgan stood at the window longer than usual, tea forgotten in her hands. She muttered and cracked the door open. The cat slinked inside without a sound and curled up beside the old radiator. Mrs. Morgan sighed and handed it a saucer of milk. "Don't get too comfortable," she said softly. But the next morning the cat was gone. Mrs. Morgan told herself she was relieved. "I'm not a pet person," she insisted to the tea kettle. But by noon, she found herself opening the front door and looking around. That evening, the cat returned. But something was different. Its belly looked rounder. Its steps were slower. Mrs. Morgan squinted. "Oh, you're going to have kittens," she said, surprised. A pause. Then she opened the door. "Come in, Mama," Mrs. Morgan said warmly. Over the next few days, Mrs. Morgan prepared a small box with blankets near the fireplace. She even gave the cat a name, Willow, because of the way she moved, graceful and quiet, like a wind-blown tree. When Willow went into labor, Mrs. Morgan sat by her side, whispering comforting words. Hours later, 4 tiny kittens mewed into the world. Mrs. Morgan had tears in her eyes. "You brave, beautiful girl," she said, emotional. She hadn't realized how lonely her days had become until the soft pitter-patter of little paws and the gentle purring filled her cottage with life. Weeks passed. The kittens grew, tumbling over each other, chasing bits of string and curling up in Mrs. Morgan's lap. Willow would watch them with calm contentment, often resting at the foot of Mrs. Morgan's bed. Word spread around town about the lady who had taken in a stray and her kittens. Neighbors who hadn't spoken to Mrs. Morgan in years began stopping by. A young girl named Lila even came every Saturday to play with the kittens and bring fresh food. For the first time in years, Mrs. Morgan's house felt warm, not just from the fire, but from laughter, purring, and unexpected friendship. "I thought I didn't need anyone anymore. But you all reminded me that even old hearts have room to grow," Mrs. Morgan said, content. And every sunrise after that, the house at the edge of town never looked lonely again. Moral of the story: even the smallest acts of kindness can open the door to companionship, healing, and love, often in the most unexpected forms.